Hey there, I guess it's time for an update, or for those of you for whom this is all brand new, an introduction. What is the MovieBob Patreon? Well, the first thing to understand is that the MovieBob Patreon is technically the Bob Chipman Patreon. That would be me, I'm Bob, I'm a writer, independent filmmaker, video producer, film critic, and in internet years at least, an old guy. Old enough to have started doing this in the era when we still thought it was both possible and advisable to keep your full name from being synonymous with your online presence, and now anyone who attained any sort of notoriety in that moment is stuck with whatever dumb nickname they decided their handle was at first. Anyway, I'm Bob, and this funds me, basically. I've been working in media for almost 2 decades now, starting out professionally in the world of cable access television, but eventually making most of my impact in the new, exciting, and in no way dystopian hellscape world of the internet, where my reviews, articles, and videos on film, television, and popular culture have been featured on Geek.com, Screw Attack, The Mary Sue, Birth Movies Death, and more, along with creating popular web series like The Game Over Thinker, In Bob We Trust, Good Enough Movies, and Really That Good. I've been profiled by The New Yorker, published 7 books of collected work, the original novelized Let's Play Super Mario Bros. 3 Brick by Brick, been a featured panelist at Regia, Con Bravo, PAX East, and the San Diego Comic-Con, and served as chairman of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. But if you've heard of me before this, there's a good chance it's because of a stretch of time where I was featured writer and video producer for The Escapist, where I created the hit web series Escape to the Movies and The Big Picture. Unfortunately, several years ago, that relationship came to an end, wasn't my idea, and then in an awkward, slow motion kind of way, the entities that brought about that coming to an end came to an end themselves. Oh well. So I took my operation independent, starting the MovieBob Patreon with the modest goal of keeping the lights on, basically. And through the generous and deeply appreciated largesse of fans, followers, and supporters, I was able to not only keep those lights on, but grow my independent presence to include, well, most of the highly successful content I'd mentioned up front, along with multiple projects still in production. And now, here in the present day, some folks who actually know what they're doing have taken back the controls at The Escapist, and they've asked me to come back on board and revive The Big Picture. And maybe some other stuff as well, early stages. Stay tuned, it's still a new thing. And of course, I'm still the weekly film critic over at Geek.com. That is also happening. So, having sort of returned my fortunes to where they were before, some of you may be wondering if that means the MovieBob Patreon needs to no longer exist. Short answer, no. Longer answer, no, of course not. Here's the thing. I've never tried to pitch this whole thing as some kind of guilt-based, if you stop your patronage, I will die sort of business, and I'm more than capable of earning a living. I've got a very usable college degree. I've got connections. I live in an economically prosperous area. I'm basically in no meaningful way marginalized or discriminated against in this particular society. I'm able-bodied, more or less. Point is, I really like what I do here, and according to the numbers and responses, a lot of you like it too, but there isn't necessarily a lot of income in it, and there isn't a lot of consistent income in it, definitely. So while having a regular actual employment, which I now do once again, is always the goal and the focus, the MovieBob Patreon helps provide a just-in-case safety net that fills in the cracks when there's a slow month, or the car needs to get fixed, or someone at Google changes one goddamn number in the algorithm and the AdSense payments get cut in half. Mainly, it makes it so I'm able to give time-intensive projects like Really That Good and other independent productions posted to the MovieBob YouTube channel and long-form pieces for the MovieBob Central blog the attention they need rather than supplementing that income otherwise, which is very helpful. Plus, it's enabled me to make actual headway on some projects I can't announce yet, but I think you're really gonna like. Plus, In Bob We Trust not going anywhere just because The Big Picture is coming back. Good Enough Movies is continuing. A couple big yet unfinished extra-length scripts that won't fit as Big Picture episodes will get produced on the YouTube channel. More experimental stuff like the pilots you've seen going up. There's a lot going on. Bottom line, I'm not going to blame anyone who looks at this with my presence being what it is today and says, oh, well, this guy's doing a lot better for himself. He doesn't need as much help anymore, especially if it's because you think your limited Patreon dollars might be better spent on creators who are having a harder time of it than me. Absolutely. Hook those people up. Maybe think about hooking up my brother Chris. He does a lot of cool stuff, including a podcast with his wife, and they just had another kid. But to all of you who stick around, to all of you who've helped me keep this thing going up to this point, and to all of you who helped us get back to this point and who will keep on, thank you from the bottom of my heart, thanks. I couldn't have gotten here without you. I certainly can't keep it going without you. I can't wait to show you what comes next, and thank you, as always, so much for your continued support of the MovieBob Patreon. Can't wait to show you what's coming next.